Hi, it's me, Vamp, and welcome to the podcast. I'm here with special guest D.E. Megan.
Hello.
Now, D.E. Megan, do you prefer D.E. Megan or Megan?
Um, I mean, either's fine. DE Megan sounds kind of formal sometimes. I'm sure if I was out to dinner and someone called me DE Megan, it might be a little bit weird, but Megan or DE Megan, just fine.
Okay. And will you tell us a little bit about what you do at DE?
Yeah, so my official role on my business card is community manager. I've been at DE for almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years this August, so coming up real soon. And essentially, my day to day has grown to really be all about making sure that I'm talking to the players, that their voices are being heard and they're being transferred over to our dev team, and just keeping that constant communication open. As well as one of the main things that I do is I write the patch notes for all the updates and all the hot fixes. Um, it's really that one's really a team effort. Predominantly, it's me kind of drafting it, and then I have, Rebecca is obviously the top tier editor, and she goes through and edits it or adds stuff or wants me to kind of expand on stuff. So we work together as a team as well as a lot of the other team members. Like, for example, if I'm not here, Danielle or Drew or again, Rebecca will help out and write them. And that's kind of one of my predominant areas. It doesn't sound like it takes a lot of time, but it definitely does, especially, hot fixes, even though, say, we don't have a hot fix yesterday or today. It doesn't mean I'm not writing it or we're not discussing it. And I'm already trying to, get in the headspace of writing for that in terms of how do we best approach that by and how to tell the community these type of things. So I'm always working on patch notes, big updates like main lines like Plains of Eidolon or Valis. Those take a lot of time because I have to go through every single integration that's ever been integrated and pull out the ones that are relevant for patch notes. But I guess other than that, we do and conventions, and I try to help out where I can in terms of creating those. And obviously, I love being able to go to them and physically be at the events, see the players, hang out with them, talk to them, just be super casual. That's always probably one of the most rewarding things about what I do here. And then other than that, I kind of help out where I can. My role has definitely changed since 6 years ago. When I first started, I did a lot of social media, just constantly combing the forums because when we first started, it was just Rebecca and then it was just Rebecca and myself. So there was only two people for, all of the players that we currently had at the time. So
Oh, wow.
forums, yeah, so it was a lot of work. Thankfully, we've grown to, I can't count properly because it's, I've only had one cup of coffee, but I think we have at least 10 or a bit over 10 community people. I can't really count right now. But our team has definitely grown, and thankfully for that, we're able to spread people out. We have people that are dedicated to the Warframe partners. We have people that are dedicated to more social media stuff, forum stuff. Again, I'm mostly dedicated to the patch notes and forums, and I'm always combing Twitter for any issues that we can bring to the dev team that we might not have seen, and stuff like that. So that's kind of my current everyday to day.
That actually sounds like quite a lot. I know you said it doesn't sound like a lot, but it sounds like a lot.
It's really hard. I find it hard to explain what I do to people, not necessarily like people who are, I don't want to say with it with the internet, but talking to people who like family members or even just friends who are not super,
Oh,
video game
I can
savvy or anything like
definitely
that.
relate. I can definitely relate.
Yeah,
When
as a
people,
streamer, I'm sure it's
yeah,
also a bit difficult.
exactly. When I stream, make videos, you'll have some people that have no clue what Twitch or YouTube really is. And then you'll have the other people who are like, oh, I wish I could get paid to play video games all day.
Exactly. And I remember when I first started and, met Rebecca, and at the time, and I've always been a huge video game lover, and when she kind of told me what she does for her job and And then when she expressed, asking me to join, I was like, "Is this? I don't know if this is a real job. Like, I'm kind of confused, and it sounds amazing. Obviously, I will say yes, but like, there's no way I can, be in the video game industry and have a full time career." But I was very wrong. But yeah, it's weird to try and explain it to people. I kind of give the same spiel when I talk to people who aren't necessarily in in with the video game industry and stuff like that. And I always feel like I'm like they don't believe me, or they're just like, this girl just plays yeah, they just go to the classic, like, she just plays video games for a living and sits in her mom's basement. And I'm like, no, I have my own place.
Now, I have to ask because, here at Warframe Madness, we ask the hard hitting questions. What's your favorite frame?
um I think it's hard for me to really kind of like hold one up on a pedestal, but if I had to, it would be Valkyr or Valkyr Prime, for obvious bias reasons of that she was my first kind of quote unquote voice acting opportunity where I was able to do her hysteria screams. But I still love her, even if it wasn't, I wasn't a part of her creation. I'd still love her. I think she's amazing. Um, Anaros has also grown really close to my favorite list. I kind of say I disregarded him when he first came out, but I wasn't really into his playstyle or anything. And it took me a while to get used to it. And I said this many times on streams and stuff that I feel like Anaros is obviously a very good high survival ability frame because you can, get your scarab armor up and you can eat enemies, get your health back when you're vulnerable, etc. Um, and I've just found joy in playing with him because I feel confident in what I'm doing, and I don't need to be carried and stuff like that. So I appreciate him a lot. Oberon has also always been a forever favorite of mine. His oh my god, I always get this wrong. What's his last ability?
I believe it's uh, he puts people in the air. Uh,
Reckoning.
yeah,
There it is.
reckoning. There we
Uh,
go.
that animation is one of my all-time favorite Warframe ability animations. So,
Just
cool.
so
He
you
can
know.
heal. He can also, yeah, slam enemies to the ground. So super love that. And then besides Excalibur, because he was my first one, obviously from the tutorial when I first started. Um, Ember was my like first true Warframe love. I remember when we first started doing prime times, I played Ember into the ground. That's all I ever played. And I guess now essentially I'm doing the same thing with the Naros, where I think the past like 20 to 30 live streams I've done nothing but play Naros and the Archiplasmor. So I'll switch it up eventually, but I do get in these like phases. And I do that in my real life too. Like I went through a phase recently where all I wanted to do was eat cereal, and I did for like 3 months. And that's kind of like Warframe. I go through my cereal phases and all I want to do is play the same Warframe in the same loadout for a long time, and then I'll change it up.
Yeah, that's what I do quite a bit. Now, I just want to say before we go on that people are probably going to eat me alive for forgetting Oberon's fourth ability name.
Ah.
Yeah.
I honestly I did that the other day too. I was talking about Oberon and this kind of same thing. His animation is one of my favorites, and I always want to call it Smite because for me that sounds more aggressive. I know that's his second ability. No, his first ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always get the name mixed up. I can tell you what it does. I can tell you what it looks like, but I can't give you the name for some reason.
Same here, same here. Now, I thought you were going to say Ember, honestly, when I asked you your favorite play.
It's kind of like I said, it changes. Obviously, Ember was my first love, and I will always, gravitate towards her in certain situations. But I've been here for almost 6 years, and I've definitely, kind of flip flop around. I really enjoyed Nova Prime recently. Um, Again, I really didn't kind of give her too much love, and then I think I was, I'm always on the road to trying to catch up to Rev in terms of mastery rank. Uh, So I was, playing through the frames and playing through all the weapons and got to Nova Prime and realized, hey, she's actually super fun. I'm not the best Nova Prime player. I think I'm one of the prime times I went to use her when we were doing the Profit Taker fight, which was just a bad idea because not that she's not good in the Profit Taker fight, I just don't know how to successfully mod her to her best of her abilities and really play her too well. I just enjoy playing her. So yeah, I kind of flip flop. Ember's my first true love, but once it was kind of game over. And then, like I said, Anaros has just kind of really stuck with me for a while.
Yeah, Anaris is, I use Anaris a lot. Anaris is probably what I'd refer to as a streamer frame, if that makes sense.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
he won't embarrass you by dying.
Yeah, and also you can, turn and talk to chat and
While you're
not have
eating a
to
dude,
worry
yeah,
about
totally.
him. Yeah, exactly. Okay, speaking of eating, why do you hate candy corn?
And actually, when you sent me this question, I kind of laughed. Well, I did laugh because yeah, I've, you know, let the community know of my passion and love for corn. And the fact that I dislike a certain type of corn seems, like a hype. What is it called? A hypocrite. Um, but you cannot classify candy corn in the true corn realm because it is neither corn. It is not a vegetable. It is not good for you. And candy corn, very textural, kind of foody. So if there's a food that it could taste amazing, but if the texture of it is off, I don't like it. Like for example, I love yogurt. I love fruit, but I don't like fruit in my yogurt because then it becomes a different texture and it grosses me out. And candy corn for me, it's just the texture of it is all wrong and it just tastes like pure sugar, which I don't like. It makes my teeth really fuzzy and it just like doesn't doesn't feel like I'm doing my body any good by eating candy corn. And I just can't picture myself sitting there like thinking, "Wow, I really want an entire bag of candy corn to eat right now." Like that just doesn't excite me too much. Um so for those reasons, I dislike candy corn greatly.
Ah, okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Let's back up to the yogurt thing. You eat plain yogurt then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, that seems a little odd to me. I'm just gonna put
You
that
don't eat
out there
just
right now.
plain yogurt?
No, I eat yogurt with fruit in it.
Why? Just it's just so smooth and it's perfect. You can eat like what do you call it? Like those little mini packs or like the little one scoopy packs or whatever they're called of yogurt. You can eat those in like 10 seconds because it's just so smooth and you just swallow it and then you don't have to worry about all the little bits and seeds and gross nastiness that's, the fruit puts into it. It's just gross.
Oh, you mean like a go-gurt?
Not necessary. Oh, a Go-Gurt, yes, but like the little cups, like a little yogurt cup,
Ah, okay, yeah.
not like a whole entire giant thing of yogurt that would last you like 2 weeks, but just like the little ones that you'd put in like a lunchbox or something. Like you
Oh,
can just
yeah, yeah.
inhale those, but not if there's fruit in them.
Oh yes, back to Valka because I feel like we're getting off topic from warfare. I don't know if you know this, but my channel, actually, Valka is the face of my channel.
I did know this.
Oh, okay. Now I don't know what to say about that.
Hey, I know it and I
Okay.
appreciate it. So,
Well, I'm glad that you appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, I gotta ask this, or else everyone will be mad at me. Can you do the Valkyr scream?
ah, this question. I think if you've seen it, I got asked to do that at last year's TennoCon on the cosplay contest stage, and I just understand that it's not just like a normal scream. Plus, I'm in an office surrounded by people, and that would be very bad if I just screamed at what is 10 a.m. my time. But also, it's not a normal scream. Like, obviously, Valkyr is. edited to sound the way she
Yeah,
sounds. Yes, it
yeah.
is my scream, but it's got a whole bunch of stuff on it. But it's definitely not just your run of the mill, like streamed numerous times on prime time or on any live stream in any situation. I've screamed a couple times, but it's nowhere near the type of scream that I had to do to get Valkyr's hysteria. So I don't think anyone wants to see me try and do that kind of a scream. It's aggressive.
Actually, you'd be surprised. I actually have heard one of your screams, regular screams, without the filter and stuff. You're just playing around. It actually was pretty popular for a while, so.
Oh, well, that's good to know, but little do you know that is nowhere near what I actually had to do.
I can only imagine you had to do quite a few takes before you go right.
Definitely a few takes, and I had Cole, who is the voice of Captain Vor. He had to come into the studio booth with me and kind of give me tips and tricks on to how to really get like a guttural, just crazy, hysteric scream. And I was just sweating because it's very hot in that audio booth because it's so small and, you know, you don't want any sound to escape. So there ain't no way to get the air out. So you're just sweating in there. And I actually got really sick afterwards because I was screaming so much and so aggressively that my throat just like ripped up and it was all raw. And I ended up getting super sick and getting like strep throat or something. So it was quite the
Oh,
week.
okay. Okay. So, what do you say your blood, sweat, and tears went into Falca's scream?
True. Maybe not so much blood. I don't think I bled anywhere, but
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
my sweat and tears, absolutely. And
yeah.
my health for sure.
Okay, okay. And I should also ask your favorite mission type.
Um I I'm a very like when I this sounds weird, but like I like games that are super quick. I like, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. I do it successfully and I can just do it a lot of them super fast. So capture is one of my favorites because you can do that insanely fast. And then recently with the Gas City remaster, we did a new game mode called Disruption, and I super love Disruption. I like the different levels it has in terms of the buffs or the debuffs that you can get, the fact that you have to actually be listening and actively trying to find the demolist who's going to blow up your thing. So I like the different levels of it. It's not just um, take a life capsule whatever to the tower.
Yeah,
That's your
true,
thing.
true.
It has more levels to it, which I like. I'm not just kind of sitting there mindlessly eating people as a Monaro, so it's a lot of fun. Obviously, capture, like I said, super quick and easy to do, so I appreciate those. Trying to see what else. I love like this. I don't know if this classifies as a mission type, but I love any and all boss fights. I think they just are obviously a little bit more a risk reward kind of situation. I said, I think actually yesterday, what's today? Wednesday. I said, nope, it's Tuesday. I said yesterday on my Xbox stream that the exploiter orb fight is my boss fight currently, and then with the Rapalist a close second. I really enjoy those fights. I think that they aren't necessarily extremely difficult, but they have a level of kind of puzzle thinking to try and figure out how to do it. And I appreciate that in a game because I am a huge Zelda nerd. So I like dungeons and puzzles and those kinds of things. So I wouldn't necessarily, compare the Rapalis fight to a Zelda dungeon, but it does when you first start it or first try to do it, you definitely kind of have to look around what's around you. Okay, this goes here, this goes there. How do I do this? Oh, I'm suddenly flying this giant sentient. That's cool. What can I do now?
We
So I really like those fights, and yeah, I'd say capture and disruption are my favorite.
Now beyond it, I have no clue how to do the Ropoles. I have no
You've
clue
never
how
done
to.
it?
Okay, I've done it technically in public. I
Mm.
play public a lot, so I got carried through it a bunch of
Ah,
times. But yeah,
that
I've
happens a lot.
never
Like
actually.
when I was playing it on my stream yesterday, I Funnest parts in that fight is, sorry, spoilers, but is riding the Rapala list and, maneuvering him around. And so as I'm streaming, I'm trying to tell my teammates like, "Oh, let me do it. Let me ride the Rapala list this time." And either they couldn't hear me or they weren't, but they didn't let me ride it at all, and I was very sad.
Uh, See, because I know parts of it. I know you need to go to that area and do the thing, but yeah.
I'm sure you'll get it. It's once you get it once, then you're fine.
That's actually something I really appreciate about that fight, which is that unlike all other bosses currently in the game, that boss, after the cutscene, it transports the whole team there.
Right. Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
to, run all the way there if you didn't get there first.
Yeah, or you don't have to be that person waiting for,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that kind of bit. Oh yeah, I don't know if this you might not know actually. Um, I kind of borrowed one of your color schemes. Yeah,
Oh,
you know
interesting.
the cotton candy, poison cotton candy, whatever you might call it, color scheme.
What did you put it on?
I put it on a lot of my frames, but I first put it on Valkyr.
Oh, I love it. You can do that as many times as you would like. I appreciate that.
Every time I tell people in my stream, they would say, "Yeah, borrowed."
I need to see this. You'll have to show me sometime.
Okay, okay. Oh yeah, do you only play on Xbox and PC?
Yes, I do have it on Switch as well, and it's sometimes I am on the Wednesday Switch streams, and I'll play my account there. But predominantly, yeah, it's either Xbox or PC. I have an Xbox and a PC at home, so I'm able to kind of keep up with it. And then obviously I have my Switch, but that I grew up playing the Xbox, the 360, and the first Xbox were one of my favorite to play. I played a lot of Halo with my dad growing up. That's a very nice memory for me. I played Fable religiously on Xbox. Um, oh, what was it called? Jet Set Radio. I played a lot. Actually, the other day, hanging out with some friends, and we booted up Fusion Frenzy. If anyone remembers that on Xbox, that was a great game. Um, to me, not saying that I wouldn't play it on PS4. I don't own a PS4, and it's not in my work schedule to keep up on PS4. So PC, I'd keep up with probably the most because we do it on prime time, and I do need it for other situations when I'm
Like
doing
beating
quick.
Rebecca.
I need to I need to get on her level. I'm trying. But also for like the patch notes, behind the scenes when we're working on things, I
Oh
can
yeah.
I can easily boot up my PC account, and it's high up there enough to be able to access the content that might be changing, so I can write the patch notes better. Um, and then of course Xbox because I do have my stream, and like I said, it's very familiar to me. I'm very comfortable playing Xbox, and like I said, I've owned an Xbox for almost my entire life since I was a child, so very familiar to me.
Okay. And let's actually circle back a bit because that's what we do. It's madness in this podcast. See what I did
All
there?
right.
Okay. So, Zelda. Favorite Zelda.
Ooh, that is a tough question. I've been asked that many times. Again, I don't think it's kind of like the favorite Warframe thing. I can't really just give that award to one of them because I love so many of them for different reasons. Show my age, but the first Zelda I ever played was Ocarina of Time, and that obviously is very, very high up on the list because it was my first. I have a lot of memories playing it with my sister, my dad, my uncle, and even just by myself, in the basement when I should have been sleeping playing Zelda. So a lot of memories there, and it's obviously an iconic and great game that literally still holds up today. Um, I enjoyed Majora's Mask because that was a much more darker Zelda that we hadn't really seen. So that to me it even like creeped me out. Like there was definitely some parts in that game that I think about now that is like, oh, that's a little scary for a child of my age at the time. But so I love Majora's Mask. I think if I'm gonna give first place to one, and like I said, this is hard, I'd probably give it to Wind Waker. It That was a game changer for me in terms of where I was in my life. That was kind of going through like the high school ups and downs. And again, really good memories with my sister and I in the basement on the GameCube, just playing Wind Waker till the GameCube like overheated. Like it was such a good time for me. And I remember the reactions when it first came out. Everyone hated it because it was such a different aesthetic to Zelda that we hadn't seen, and we a lot of people said they didn't want. And then as soon as they played Wind Waker, they were like, okay, this is actually an amazing game. And I get the reason for the art style change and the shift, and everything about it is great. It has its ups and downs. Obviously, I don't love fishing for like little, that ain't my jam, but I'll still do it. And one of my actual favorite things to do is to watch speed runs of Wind Waker. There was a speedrunner back in the day that did awesome games done quick. The name was Cosmo. Big fan of Cosmo. They don't do speedruns anymore, I don't think. But I would always, always, always stay up and watch Wind Waker specific Zelda speedruns because it just blew my mind. All speedruns are so impressive. But I just love Wind Waker. I love the music. I love the art style. I love the story, and it's very special to me. And then of course, Breath of the Wild is just one of the most incredible games I think I've ever played. But for me, Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time just have so many good memories that they'll always be high up on the list.
Ah, okay. Breath of the Wild, I'm actually playing through right now. It took me
Hmm.
6 hours to get through the what I call tutorial mode. But
That's a long time.
yeah, I know. I get lost very easily. Even
Oh,
in Warframe, I get lost constantly.
yeah, and Breath of the Wild, like there's just so much to do. Like it's insane the amount of things you can do, and the fact that you can be distracted and still be on the same path, like on the right path. Like there's no, yes, there is the story that you can 100% follow, but you don't have to, right? Like you can go off and you can explore the entire map and do everything and then do the story. Like it doesn't pigeonhole you to just a linear progression. Like it's so brilliantly made and I love it so much.
Yeah, it is. I also like the fact that you can actually, like however you want. If you beat a boss a specific way, it's not known as a quote cheat or glitch. It's
Right.
actually designed that way that you can do it however you want.
Exactly. And like I applaud them for doing that. And because you think about Ocarina and that's pretty damn linear. Like yes, you can kind of travel around and you can go to this other town and talk to people, but there's not too much to do. You kind of really have to stick to the story in Ocarina and,
Yeah.
unlock the, or not unlock, but like, go to this dungeon, this dungeon, this dungeon, and do it in a particular order with give it some give and take. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is just incredible.
Ocarina was actually my first Zelda as well.
Hey, there we
So,
go.
yeah, and it actually, I liked it so much. I used to stay up when I wasn't supposed to. So much I had nightmares of those stupid giant spiders.
Oh, the first boss.
No, just the spiders in general.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
They're creepy. Yeah,
When,
absolutely.
yeah. When I was younger, I was kind of afraid of spiders. So, yeah.
Ah, this makes sense.
I to this day though, I hated the ending of Ocarina of Time
You hated the ending. Why?
because Zelda ruined everything.
Oh, don't say that.
She did. She took me back, so nothing I did mattered at all.
Yeah, but then you get all these other games where what you did does matter and it does make sense. So, I mean,
Actually,
at the time, it was like, I guess that didn't happen, but
you talk about Wind Waker or the Walker. I'm really sure.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker. Okay, you're talking about Wind Waker. I believe that is a sequel to the result of what Zelda did in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, it kind of gets a little confusing to me. I don't I don't necessarily follow if it's a sequel, prequel, or just completely abstract. Because
Yeah, no one really does.
yeah, I said this a couple times, but different like dimensions and this isn't time travel, but like time travel, different dimensions, and yeah, kind of like flip flopping back and forth always confuses me. Like to this day, I still don't understand the order that I'm supposed to watch Star Wars in, or yeah, what is a prequel, what is a sequel, or whatever. So that breaks my brain. So I just try to enjoy the game for what it is and understand the story to a certain degree and just move on with my life.
No, I believe that's how Nintendo originally wanted it. Um, yeah, I believe Nintendo's original goal was, there would be a different Link. It's not always the same Link. That's just the name of the hero of time.
Yeah, and I
Past.
remember
Yeah.
playing Skyward Sword. That was not my favorite Zelda game. And that one confused me because it's, I believe, way before Ocarina, I think. I can't remember, but it's before something. And I was like, I don't get what any of this is because that confuses me because you play this entire game, like say Skyward Sword, and then really nothing of that is mentioned in supposed to be after it, and it's breaks my brain, you know? I try not to think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. I just realized we started talking about Zelda.
Oh, I could talk all day.
Well, I looked at the time and I know there's an update coming out today.
Yeah, I got the console update is in 45-ish minutes.
Yep. Now, you told me yesterday, you said Xbox update. I was going to message you back. I was going to say, what? Only Xbox? How dare you?
Yeah, I meant that in terms of that's what I need to be doing. We have the Xbox update, the PS4 update today, and then Switch will be getting the updates very soon. We couldn't enter search while um, we're working on a bunch of improvement updates for the Switch in terms of performance, and we couldn't enter cert because we are also working on a fun operation event for this weekend coming up on all platforms. So we kind of had to uh, do it a little bit differently. But PS4 and Xbox One, we did submit to cert. They passed. They're going live, like I said, in like 40
Oh.
minutes now. So when I said when I said Xbox, I meant that I need to be doing Xbox. That's like I take care of those notes and that kind of stuff. So that's what I need to be doing in 20 minutes.
Okay, now I know we've run low on time, but I do have two questions if you don't mind.
Sure.
First of all, I want to know, did you already write the update notes for the update today? The
Yes.
patch notes?
So what's handy about console update notes is they are predominantly, copy and paste from the PC notes that I've already written, with the exception of pulling out PC specific changes or fixes that don't necessarily apply to the console community. So
Um,
it's really just about, yeah, copy and pasting and rearranging it.
Proofreading, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier, and I don't necessarily need to write an entire new update
Okay.
patch note for that. So yeah, it's mainly PC that it gets the most work on.
And I guess you can't get in trouble for copying yourself.
It's true. It's not plagiarism.
And my final question is, okay, so well, 2 weeks ago, technically, because I don't always have a podcast every week. I was going to make a podcast about something completely different, but I decided to make it about called Safety First, because I've read some stuff on Twitter from people I actually know personally and fellow content creators. Some of them are even Warframe partners. How they've been getting harassed lately online, and the whole thing about safety on the internet in general. And I want to know if you have any tips or.
Yeah, the internet is a beautiful place, and it's incredible that we can get, news and information literally within seconds, but the internet can also be a very dangerous place. I've grown up with the internet. Obviously, again, this will show my age, but I've grown up with the dial up internet back in the day. But it is obviously, grown to be a much bigger place. And yes, it can be dangerous. One of, I would say, my tips that I personally use, and this does come from being someone who works on the internet essentially and is kind of always on the internet on social media. That's part of my job. There's definitely things you can do to keep yourself safe. Um, Such as if I'm going to post a picture, say, of me at my house doing something, I make sure that, there's no mailing address that anyone can see of mail that's sitting on my counter, or even small things like not showing the background of my street in a window in my house or something, phone numbers or anything like that. I try to make sure that those are hidden because the internet can sometimes really want to dig into stuff, and it's unfortunate, and sometimes it is gross, and I don't understand why people decide to spend their time ruining other people's lives. But I think it really comes down to the internet can be so anonymous. You can hide behind your computer screen and essentially do what you want without any potential repercussions. So there are people out there that are like that. I've definitely received my fair share of people life more difficult than it needs to be. And I also think that this might not necessarily be a tip for being safe, but you mentioned the word harassment and stuff like that on the internet.
Yeah.
And again, I do get my fair share of that from people. And I think that I've grown very thick skin for the internet. I used to take everything to heart and cry about everything, and now I don't. That just obviously comes with time and around me building me up. Um, but uh, if you into the people that are harassing you for no reason, there's no reason for anyone to be harassed or bullied. If you feed into that in a public internet kind of way, people are going to latch on to that, and they're going to continue to harass you and bully you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't speak up for yourself, because you absolutely should. Um, but at the same time, if all you do is bring up the negativity and bring up and give people the benefit, people are going to latch on to that, and more people are going to do it because they're seeing that it's getting attention out of it. They see that, oh, this person is giving this person attention for harassing them and bullying them, so I'm going to do that. And then it becomes a dog pile of sorts. So it's hard in terms of harassment because not everyone can react the same way. Not everyone has a thick skin on the internet. Not everyone can really brush off comments like that. There are definitely still comments that upset me from time to time. Try to keep a very positive, outward facing attitude about things. There definitely are people that still continue to harass and bully me, or, people that are around me. But you stick to your guns, stick up for what you believe in, and just continue being your genuine, authentic self. The people that, and again, not giving attention to the harassers and the bulliers, because they don't deserve any of that, because they're just, like I said, people hiding behind their computer screens. They fully calm down. That's a different case for everyone. But also reaching out to people around you, and not in like a super public way. Like there's to have a private conversation with people behind the scenes that can potentially help you and give you advice. I've had to reach out to people and like, how do you deal with these kinds of things on the internet and such? So there are people out there that are willing to help you in terms of people bullying or harassing you on the internet. And it's really just, if you're posting something, yourself a million questions about it. Should I be posting this? Is this how I want to be perceived on the internet? Is anything in this picture or in this text can be misconstrued in some way? And just really be conscious of what you're doing. And like I said, don't and the harassment people any kind of benefit or any light to what they're doing, because what they're doing is wrong. And I dislike every single person who harasses and bullies people, because I've been, even when I wasn't on the internet, I've been harassed and bullied in my life, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So those people obviously the end of it of being harassed and bullied, so they feel like they can do that to other people, and that's not right. Not saying that they deserve to be harassed and bullied, but they shouldn't be given any benefit, because it's just not right.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. And thank you for the tips. Thank you for everything. Thank you for, being on this podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I had a lovely morning drinking coffee and talking to you.
Coffee. I prefer energy drinks personally.
Ooh, there's so much sugar in it though. Oh,
Yeah, Monster is my go-to. Guys,
no.
I'm not sponsored by Monster. I just like Monster. But hey, Monster, if you're out there,
I always say that too. I'm like, hey, Starbucks, if you need a sponsor, I like your coffee.
But yeah, I just looked and went over time a bit, so
All right. I
think
enjoyed talking about Warframe and Zelda and the internet with you.
I likewise, and I will hopefully catch you in maybe we can do like a follow-up podcast in the future. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. You can message me anytime.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to end the podcast episode. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. If anyone wants to catch you, see like you have a Twitter, right? That people can.
I do. It makes no sense because it is incorrect French, but it is Moitoi. It's Moitoi. Feel free to follow me and send me pictures of your animals, because I like that.
And pictures of candy corn because she loves candy corn.
No, I will burn it. I will ban you. I'll block you. Just kidding. I won't.
Okay. Well, this is the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. I'll catch you guys in the future. Don't know why I said hopefully.
You'll be back.
But yeah, later, guys.